Hi folks, this is Nathan with the ebookreader.com. For this video I'm going to give you guys a review of the AfterGlow 2. So this is the latest e-ink ebook reader from Onyx, and it runs Android 4.2 and can install Android apps. So let me go ahead and show you some of the hardware here. On the front we've got this button below the screen. This actually functions as a back button, and if you hold it you can turn the front light on and off. And then we've got page buttons here on the sides. It's quite of a different setup than it was on the T68 that I reviewed last year. It has different kind of button layouts, so like the buttons on it actually has like a menu, a dedicated menu, and a back button, and then it has the page buttons over there, and then it had like a navigation wheel where you can use to navigate like pretty much the whole OS with that wheel right there, and then that's like a selector. So it's a different layout here on the AfterGlow with just the left and right back page buttons, and then the back button. So there's no dedicated menu or home button, which kind of is a little bit awkward for navigating the operating system, because you got the home button up here, you've got the menu button here, and you've got the back button here, so it's kind of all over the place when you're trying to navigate. Okay, so this device, it has a 6-inch e-ink screen. It's got the 1024 by 758, that's pretty standard. So with this Android operating system, this is like the app section, and then we've got the main home screen right here which lists your books, and it's always doing the scanning for metadata. I don't know why it's always doing that, but it gets kind of annoying. And then we've got like different things down here. So this is the shop. Usually these Artitech devices direct to a Dutch ebook shop, but the link doesn't even do anything on this device for some reason. Like I said, that was the apps drawer. If we go back, we can go ahead and scroll over here, and we've got the options for setting, and then there's a web browser as well, so we can kind of customize some of the different things. As far as like recently added, you can put like recently read on here. As far as like the user preferences down here, we can do a couple of different things, and home page preferences. Okay, so up here is the, you can access like the quick settings, like if you get notifications right here and stuff. You can turn Wi-Fi on and off right there. You can adjust the volume, because this device, it supports audio. It's got a audio jack down here and a micro SD card slot. It doesn't have any external speakers, so you do have to plug it in to get any audio support. And it also supports text-to-speech in the default ebook app. So this is the front light adjuster. Let me turn this light off here and see if it can get a better idea of the front light a little bit. So the front light, it has a little wide range of adjusting options. You can go ahead and turn it all the way off by holding the button below the screen, like I said, and then we've also got the adjuster right here. So it does go very dim. One thing I noticed is it does have some, you can't see it at all right here with that bar there, but when you have like a book open, you can see a little bit of shadow area at the bottom with this particular front light, and then there's a few brighter spots. Okay, so the great thing about having Android on an e-reader is you got all kinds of different reading options. So the default reading options include these ones. You've got Onyx Reader, FB Reader, O Reader, and Onyx Neo Reader. So that's just for EPUB ebooks. The Neo Reader also works with PDFs, and so does Onyx Reader. So Onyx Reader is like the main default reading app. Let's go ahead and show you what we've got for features. So we've got the dictionary option right here. So you can set the partial, or the page refresh right here. So with the e-ink, you got the different options with how often you want the full page refresh. So let's go ahead and set it to 3 pages. So when you turn pages, it doesn't do the full flashing refresh, but every 3rd page. This paging, it doesn't really make any sense for these type of books. It's just a single page, so there isn't even an option for there. We also got, that's more of a PDF feature. Some of the other features on here, you can also adjust the light right there. So if we go into the settings options here, we got a few different options with page margins, display the footer at the bottom of the page. I don't like this footer, it's kind of really large, so I usually have it turned off. But you can go ahead and set that if you want, and as you can see down here. So the reason I don't like it is it's just kind of pointless, because you tap on that thing and it's interactive mode, so there really is nothing to do there. But it does give you the page numbers right there, and then it shows you what part of the page you're on right here. Again, that's a little bit more of a PDF type of feature. So if you tap right here, you can actually jump pages. You just got the usual on-screen options. This app, usually selecting word failed, you get that a lot with this app. I don't know what the deal is, because if you open up another e-reading app, it always selects it pretty easily. So the cool thing about this is we definitely have a lot of font adjusting options. Right now I have bold enabled. Without bold, it is pretty dim. It's really like more of a gray color. But with bold enabled, it looks a lot better. You got the different various font sizes, of course. And there's a whole bunch of different font types. So sometimes with Android you get these app warnings where the app just suddenly closes for no reason. That's just sort of one of the deals with Android. And as you can see, we can open the book right back up. We got the time down here, so there's some different things, and if you tap up in the corner you can bookmark it. We got the search options, and then there's landscape mode, notes, notes section, so you can jump to the TOC. I always forget the table of contents is in notes. It doesn't seem very logical to me, but I do forget about that being in that section. So yeah, this app supports the EPUB and PDF format. I think it supports some other formats as well. There's just so many different apps on here. There's like all these different types of formats supported. So you can also go in and load in different e-reading apps, of course. So let me just show you a couple of these really quick. The Kindle app, it actually works really well on here as far as like the interface. On the T68, the store, it didn't work well at all. It would just crash constantly, and scrolling was really a pain. But on this device, the Kindle Store actually works quite well. And the cool thing about this device, the software is newer than it was on the T68, and it has this auto like partial refresh thing when you scroll. So whenever you scroll, it automatically enters partial refresh mode, and it scrolls really smooth. So that works with like the web browser. Pretty much anywhere you're scrolling, it automatically enters that refresh mode where it's partial, and it's so much smoother than it used to be. So I really do like that. That's like one of the best things with this newer software, is just scrolling is a lot smoother than it was on the older Onyx Android e-readers. So the main problem though is when you're using an app like this, it's designed for tablets. So e-ink e-readers, it doesn't have page button support. And as you can see, the font, it's very light compared to what it was like in that app we were just in. There's obviously no boldness setting or anything like that with the Kindle app. So you got to just take what they give you with the font choices here. And it's not the boldest font, obviously. And the thing is, there's no full refresh, so the page never fully refreshes. It always does that sliding thing, and the font kind of gets washed out after a while. So by comparison, here's the Kindle Paperwhite, which has the same screen. Obviously, you can tell that the text is a lot darker than it is when you're using the Kindle app on this, because it never does a full refresh and the font is just not as dark. So the way the text renders, it basically just depends on what app you're using. Like I said, the Kindle's app, it gets kind of washed out and it's kind of gray. Some of these other apps, it's not as bad. So like the Google Play Books app, let's go ahead and load that up. So as you can see here, like I said, the page buttons work well with the Google Play Books app, and it kind of does a refresh a little bit more with page turns. So the text does seem to stay a little bit darker with this app. It definitely does stay darker than it does with the Kindle app. So I actually don't have a problem reading this way on this with this particular app, because it does render the text darker. The Kobo app's kind of the same way. It does work pretty well as far as that goes too, because it renders the text a little bit darker because it kind of does a refresh each page. But the page buttons don't work with the Kobo app. So I mean, it just depends on these third-party apps, what's going to work and what isn't going to work on ink, because obviously they're not designed for ink, but a number of them do work well enough. So this is just a quick look at Feedly. Like I said, the page buttons work in some apps and they don't in other apps. Sometimes they scroll. I thought that they would have scrolled with this app, but they don't. But yeah, the app does work totally fine. And like I said, it does an auto partial refresh when you scroll, so that's always a nice feature with the software on this particular Android device. So you can always do other things like install a different alternate launcher. Like I installed Nova Launcher. I haven't set it up at all, but if you go ahead and set the background to white, you like limit the animated transitions. If you go into settings, there's all this different stuff you can do. So if you don't really like the home screen that Onyx offers, you can always customize one yourself, set it up with an alternate launcher if you wanted to have some sort of grouping of apps and stuff like that. So there's a lot more possibilities with the Android operating system than there is with your typical ebook readers, that's for sure. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and show the web browser quickly. It does work pretty well. Like I said, the scrolling is smooth, so that really does help. Let me go ahead and load this page up and show you a couple of different things. So if we just want to read the article, of course, if you just double tap right there, it's a good way to zoom in on just the text. And you can use the page buttons to scroll up and down the page. You just kind of get used to how the web browser works, because if you're trying to do like page zooming, it's going to drive you nuts just with the constant refreshing. Right there, it actually enters the partial refresh mode, and then when you scroll, it usually does that too. But at other times, it just starts flashing like crazy, and it will drive you nuts because it's just the nature of e-ink and Android. It's not entirely optimized for e-ink, so obviously it's just a little bit hit or miss here and there. So if you want to go ahead and check out this review, I do have this review written online here, so if you wanted more details on the specific device. I got it all written out right here. So I do like this device. It has a lot of options. It's pretty cool having all these different apps installed on here and being able to access everything easily in one place. And you can use stuff like Dropbox and all these different apps just to easily get content onto your device. But I do have issues with the Android operating system at times. Like right now, for whatever reason, it's gotten to this loop where it won't download any more apps. I have plenty of space open. There's 50 megabytes open, and I wanted to download the ES File Manager app. It's only 5 megabytes. For some reason, can't get any apps to download anymore. It just gets hung in this constant process where it just doesn't do anything. As far as this touchscreen goes, I usually have pretty good luck with this touchscreen, but for whatever reason, whenever I have to hit accept on one of these, it usually takes me like 5 or 6 times before it works. I do not know why. That's like the one place I do have problems with the touchscreen. For the most part, I don't really have any issues. But like I said, I've been having problems with this device. It will never download this app. I don't know. I've forced close, cleared cache, restart. I mean, I've tried everything short of factory resetting this device, which I don't want to have to do to reset every single password again. So yeah, I'm just not going to deal with it anymore. It's driving me absolutely nuts. So that's just kind of one of the things with Android. I mean, you can encounter issues with it. You get all these advanced features, but you're also going to have some issues from time to time. I haven't heard any other people having this issue, but for whatever reason, I don't know. I just can't get apps on here anymore, and it's just driving me nuts. So I'm really not going to worry about it anymore. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this review right here. Like I said, you can check out the written review for some additional details, the ebook reader on the ebookreader.com. So I'm going to wrap up this video right here. Thank you guys for watching. You have a good day.